Well, there you see it. He's got the belt right now, the Unified World Champion. With the help, I might add, a big business brown briefcase. But here he comes, finally with a belt. I want to say, too, still, that car thing, one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen in all my years in the wrestling business. Well, you have the belt around your waist.
Where would you wear a belt at, Dave? Around your waist, I think. This is a very, very proud moment for me. This is the greatest moment probably in my life. You stated out here just a while ago, this is probably the longest running feud, not only just in the USWA, but probably in professional wrestling.
I think that's
Jerry
right.
Lawler has wrestled all the greats in professional wrestling. I mean, the greats. You can just name one, he's wrestled them. Not only wrestled them, he's defeated them because he's been able to walk around and call himself the king of professional wrestling. And see, it was my dream as a kid, just like any kid that sits out there and dreams of being like Troy Aikman or Joe Montana or Michael Jordan or somebody like that. It was my dream to be, at one time, the Southern Heavyweight Champion in this area. It was my dream to be the king of professional wrestling, which I have attained. And then the ultimate dream of my life was to become the World Heavyweight Champion. But I didn't realize, Dave, that the day that I would become the World Heavyweight Champion, I would defeat Jerry Lawler. And I did it when all the critics, all the skeptics, just like yourself, said I couldn't do it. I did it. The thing that everyone said it couldn't be done, I did it. Make sure you pan down and see this belt right now. The new Unified World Heavyweight Champion. Well, you know, following that match this past week, Eddie Marlin comes to me and says, well, you know, Jerry Lawler's in line for a rematch for that belt, and he needs to get a rematch soon. I said, well, maybe I just don't want to give him a rematch this week. Maybe I just want to wait a little while because, see, my memory's not short like a lot of people think it is. I remember last week before that, when I won the world title match, Jerry Lawler and Eddie Marlin got together, and I told you last week I had to get down on my hands and knees and beg for a match. And Lawler wanted me to put up Sam Bass's jacket, the one that I am still wearing right now. Well, Jerry Lawler, you won a rematch for the World Heavyweight title. Well, after a lot of thinking and pondering this past week, I decided to say yes to Eddie Marlin and give you a rematch. But I have just a couple little stipulations, too. My first stipulation is that pretty nice jacket that he wears, just like the one I'm wearing, Sam Bass had, just like this one right here, Sam Bass's jacket. I want that jacket that Jerry Lawler wears, just like this jacket. As a matter of fact, let me see these just a second. I have brought along with me some photos of Jerry Lawler from about 1975, and you can see how proud.
What are you doing with all these photos of the Kings? What I'm wondering about.
Well, anyway, I want to get, if the camera can get in, see this picture right here? This is how long Jerry Lawler's had this jacket. Now here, Chris, you take this one. There you go. Look at this one right here. Look at this color one. Can you zoom in up right there? Look at that. See how proud he is of that? See how he's smiling? See how proud he loves this jacket. And then, oh, you'll really like this one, Dave. See this picture here? This is of Jerry Lawler. And see Gordon Soley there? That's your idol, isn't it? You always love Gordon Soley. See him sitting there with that jacket? He wore that jacket everywhere. And last but not least, see, there it is. There it is.
All right.
And now I want it.
Well, now that jacket, of course, is very special to Jerry because that's his jacket when he won his first tag team championship with Jim White, and the one that you have, gotten by means that were certainly questioned in the last few days, we will go into that now, belonged to the late Sam Bass.
That's right, the very late Sam Bass. He was always late for everything.
Come on now, Eddie.
Jerry Lawler takes a lot of pride in that jacket because that's the only thing left. That's the only bond he has to Sam Bass. And I want that jacket, Lawler, because see what I want to do then? I want to take this jacket I have on, and I want to give it to my brother Doug, and I want him to wear this jacket. And then I'm going to take your jacket, Lawler, and I'm going to slip my arms into it, and then I'm going to walk around, and I will truly be the king, and I will be the true world champion. But, you know, after I thought about that, I thought, I can't let him buy that easy. Maybe there's just something else. Slowly, I want to make him suffer. So I want to take as much as I can from Jerry Lawler. So I thought, what else does he have that no one else has been able to take away from him? So I remember, and you might be able to help me with this, a few years back, there was this like tournament held here in the area in the USWA that was for a ring. And this ring was called the Lord of the Rings. And it's something special to a person, kind of like, you know, when a team wins a Super Bowl or a college football team wins a national championship, they always have that ring to wear.
Yeah, I remember that. That was 7, 8 years ago. And as I recall, it was Bill Dundee and Jerry Lawler in the finals for it. Billy wanted the ring real bad, but Jerry had it, and Bill was never able to get it.
That's right. You said the right word. Bill Dundee was never able to get that ring. For Jerry Lawler, in the contract and the stipulation of this match this week, I am once again showing how much faith I have in myself and my career, because it is a new day and a new time in the USWA. You're just like Joe Montana, Lawler. You don't know when to say when. It's time to go. It's time to pack up and go. You don't have what it takes anymore, but I have what it takes. And I'm putting Sam Bass's jacket up, and I'm putting the world heavyweight title up this week against your jacket, the one that I'm going to be wearing. And I'm going to wear it everywhere I go, everywhere I stop on the side of the road, when I go into a mall, everywhere I go. And you know, maybe someone just might mistake me for Jerry Lawler. And then also after that match, I'm going to take what Bill Dundee and what every other great wrestler in the wrestling business who wants to call himself great could never do. And that was to get that Lord of the Rings ring. I will be not only the world heavyweight champion, I will have 2 jackets like this and the Lord of the Rings ring. And I am the king.
Yeah. There goes Eddie Gilbert right there, and I think...
jackets and sell it on Home Shopping, I think.
Yeah, I'm sure you could. Yeah, well, thanks for the respect of the history of the whole thing there, Big Business Brown. I think the word obsession maybe has something to do with that situation with Eddie Gilbert. Man, with all those pictures he had, and he wants... anyway, that in the ring is where he'll have to do it. We'll be back here with more in just a moment.
Tampa.
Well, we heard from Eddie Gilbert a little bit earlier. Jerry Lawler has a match scheduled right here, and I hope we can get him to say just a few words about this entire situation with Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert before he climbs into the ring. You can see who's the king. Eddie Gilbert can stand out here and claim he's the king all he wants to, but just take a look at that right there. No doubt about who's the king of wrestling. It is still Jerry Lawler. He may not have the unified title at the moment. He's still got the crown, and he called himself the king early on, but he earned it, and he still is, and here he is right here.
Thanks, Dave. Thank you very much. You know, it's not too often that you do something like lose the Unified World Heavyweight Championship and still get a reception like that. I want to thank everybody for the support. I also wanted to say something real quickly here before I get started. You know, we have probably the last live wrestling show in the world here each week. And every week we get a great group of fans like this that come in. And I wanted to, I wanted to just say for a second, a lot of these people that are here may remember, and Dave, I'll bet you remember, but it wasn't that long ago. We were having the wrestling show here on the Saturday morning, and as I was coming out for my interview, just as I did then, there was a young man that was sitting right over here with his family, and he was a Down syndrome child, and, well, I say child, he's actually 30 years old, and he was a great guy, and as I walked past him, he shook my hand, and he just sort of followed me right on over to the interview segment here. And I realized when I got about right here, I realized that he was following me, and they were calling for him to come back, and I said, no, let him come on over. And his name was Newton Blankenship, and Newton came over, and if I've ever had a fan of the world, I mean, Newton was probably my biggest fan. And last week, I got a call from Newton's family that right after Christmas, that they had had a fire at their home, and Newton was burned really, really badly, and they asked me to come down and see him at the the burn center down at the med at the trauma center. And I went down, and you know, he was still unconscious at the time, and I talked with him and that sort of thing, and he was on a breathing machine, and the burns were just really bad. And you know, he did open his eyes, and I think he realized I was there, and I had the belt to show him and the crown and all that sort of stuff. And Newton was just a great, great guy and really a great fighter, and he loved wrestling, and he loved me, and I thought the world of him. And anyway, just right before I came out here this morning, I got word from his family that Newton passed away yesterday. And I just wanted to say that I want to send my condolences, and I'm sure the condolences of everybody out here to his family. And how about a round of applause for Newton Blankenship, because he was a great guy. Now I want to talk about somebody now that is, in my opinion, not such a great guy. And he was out here a little while ago, and maybe to say not such a great guy is putting it mildly. Because there is obviously something wrong with Eddie Gilbert.
No doubt. No doubt.
Is there not something wrong with Eddie Gilbert? Now, anybody that sat here and watched that video a while ago of the history of the feud between myself and Eddie Gilbert knows that Eddie Gilbert is just about 3 bricks shy of a load. And I'm going to tell you this, Eddie Gilbert. There's something wrong with somebody that has pictures. I mean, here's a guy comes out here. He's got pictures of me that I don't have. I mean, you know, these pictures are from 1975 and 1976, and he's saving them. Well, let me tell you something, Eddie. We're going to have a match this week. We're going to go in that ring. And, yeah, you've got the Unified World Heavyweight Championship belt. And you've got the jacket that Sam Bass had. Well, I'm going to tell you this. After this week, you better get to a camera, and you better have a lot of pictures made with you with that jacket. And you better have a lot of pictures made with you with that belt. Because after this match, that's all you're going to have is pictures of it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, in order to get this match, Eddie Gilbert seems to want everything that I've got. He wants my jacket so that he can wear it and his brother Doug can wear Sam's. That's a little sick, Eddie. But I'm going to tell you something. He also wants this ring. Now, I don't know if we can get a close-up of this ring, but you are right. As you can see, it says the Lord of the Rings. There's diamonds, there's rubies, and right in the center is a diamond that would knock your eyes out, right?
Huge.
And there's the logo, the company logo's on the side. And this was a ring that I'll be honest with you, I don't even wear it. It's actually I mean, it fits, but it's not only heavy, but it's a little on the gaudy side. But I'm going to tell you, I'm proud of this ring because I know what I had to do to win this ring. This is just like a Super Bowl ring to me, Eddie Gilbert, because I went through some of the best, the top, the biggest names in all of professional wrestling to win this ring. And like I said, he's trying to take everything that I've got. He don't want only to be called the king. He don't want only to be called the champion. He wants to somehow be me, doesn't he? Well, Eddie Gilbert, you got to understand this. You got to get this through your head. You can't be me, Eddie Gilbert. You are not me. You are Eddie Gilbert. You are not Jerry Lawler, and on your best day, you will never be Jerry Lawler. And this week, when we step in that ring, I'm going to show you the difference between Eddie Gilbert and Jerry Lawler. And when it's all over, there'll be no doubt in your mind who is the real king of professional wrestling and who is the Lord of the Ring. Like I said, when it's all over and the smoke clears, I will have Sam's jacket back. I will have this ring. I will have my jacket. I will have my crown. And I will have the Unified World Heavyweight Championship belt. You can bank on that, Eddie Gilbert.
No doubt in my mind right now who's the king and who's the Lord of the Ring. He's got the ring right now. Corey's going to hang on to it for safekeeping.